Hello, Graham Cope with another My Music, another day, another podcast, another one of you listening to us talking about music. We'll be back straight after this little video. Hello, as I say, hello everybody. Welcome to the My Music podcast. I feel kind of naked today, not because I'm not dressed or anything, but I've forgotten to put my glasses on before I come to do this, which is, I'm so used to wearing them now that it feels kind of weird without them, if you know what I mean. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. Do tell everybody who you are and where you're coming from.
My name's Tom. I'm from the band Tulipomania, and I'm in the Philadelphia area.
Cool. Tulipomania, great name. Where did that come from?
It's a really early historical financial scandal. So it's about the overvaluation of tulips and the destruction.
Really?
And the destruction of entire economies over it. Right.
Over tulips.
Right. People were treating them like currency.
That's amazing. Were the Dutch involved?
Oh, absolutely.
The Dutch were definitely involved. Okay, cool. Wow. What got you interested in that?
I'm just always been interested in sort of madness of crowds, the sort of that ridiculous group dynamics, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Then the last few years must have been a very interesting period for you.
Yeah, it's been, since the dot-com bubble 20 years ago till now, it's been like one continuous wave. And I suspect it's always been this way, since before the Romans.
But we don't have documentation of it in the same way that we do now. Yeah.
And we have no memory. So.
Yeah. Well, arguably, we perhaps have, one could argue, we perhaps have more memory of some of those times than we do now.
We have more information, right? But nobody seems to learn from it. So,
well, we have more information here. That this is an interesting topic. We have more information, but we're pumping all of that information and all of those memories of these times up into the cloud, which means that for a lot of people, we're losing a lot of those memories as we go, because
and it's also paired with nonsense. So equally side by side on the same website is complete nonsense.
Yeah.
It used to be you'd go to a library and there'd be books and it'd be slightly vetted.
Yeah.
But now, it all looks the same online.
It does. And you don't know what's truth, what's fiction, what's what's good information, what's bad information. And it's all one big information overload.
And the more complex it is, the more people turn away from it.
Yeah. What's the answer to it all?
I don't know.
All right.
Do you?
I try, and I think the only thing we can do, my personal view is the only thing we can do is have conversations like this.
I agree.
Right. I think that's the only way we can sort of get anywhere close to any kind of truth, is just to hear people's different perspectives, be open to different people's truths, and somewhere, if we've got an open ear in the middle, we might find, and if we're prepared to change our opinion as we go, we might find something closer to the truth. I don't think we'll ever get there. But I think if we stop shouting at each other and we start listening to each other a little bit more, then it helps. That's my personal opinion.
A lot of it is emotional, so a lot of it doesn't have to do with the facts. It has to do with feelings. So that's a good way.
You look like you are well read.
Nowhere near as well read as the cabinet of books, but I have a lot of read. So
The books read themselves.
There's more there than I've read.
Oh right, okay. What kind of books do you read?
Actually, totally separate. I'm interested in repairing things, so I read a lot of. For many years, I've been reading about musical instrument repair, that sort of stuff. So some of them are just a library of information.
Wow. What sort of instruments have you repaired?
Mostly guitars. So but it was just something I was fascinated by as a kid. So I continued with it, and I've always fixed my own instruments, but all my friends' instruments, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Did you ever build any from scratch?
I did. Not from like the kind of kits, but my father was an excellent woodworker, so I built some guitars with him.
Wow. I had a friend that made a guitar for his design projects at school. This is a story I told the other day. And we also had a friend whose dad had a bit more money, and he decided to build a replica of Jean-Michel Jarre's laser harp instead.
Oh, that's funny.
which cost him around £30,000 to build at school, which he then sold for a profit, which was not the keyboard profit, but an actual profit. But yeah, but I loved watching my friend make that guitar. I think there's something really quite beautiful about actually fashioning your own guitar from scratch and having to take the time. There's a lot of patience involved. Wood's a funny material in that respect. It's kind of, in some respects, when you think about it, you make something that you want to stay in tune out of wood.
Well, yeah, this is moderately stable.
Yeah, moderately, unless you leave it in the wrong conditions,
right.
and then it decides to move quite quickly.
Right.
Have you seen any of those videos online recently of like some people are now making like guitars out of all sorts of weird things? Like,
I have seen over the years, I've seen lots of people make guitars shaped like fish made out of welded metal and stuff like that. That never really appealed to me. I was mostly interested in repair.
right.
Taking broken things and fixing them.
Well, so talking about taking broken things and fixing them, does that extend beyond inanimate objects as much as it? Do you feel that you can help mend us as people in any way?
I don't know. No, that's too big a challenge, I think, for me personally. But I do try to help people with their projects, like trying to help people make art. But I'm not try to help anybody who comes to me looking for that. But I'm not really a social worker. Like I'm not capable of that level.
Well, what about the music?
In the music, I'm really interested in mostly personal reactions to things. I think.
Yeah.
More than trying to fix it. There's some hope in there about it being fixed, but I don't sort of fatalistic about it. I think.
No. Do you not think that in a sense just speaking your truth through making music though actually in some way does then help people? Because I mean you and I mean we've listened to a lot of music presumably over the years. I certainly have. It's helped me.
Mm-hmm.
I presume music's helped you in some shape or form.
Absolutely, yeah. I would hope so, but you just don't know whether it reaches people, how many people are reached, or what and you don't know what they're reached by. So I can't really tell. I would hope that that's true.
Yeah. Well, when you say you don't know,
I mean, I don't know. For me, for what I don't know exactly what's working for everyone else.
Do people not tell you?
Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just like it and don't say why. that sort of, or they don't like it. That also happens.
Well, it's nice to know one way or the other, though, isn't it? I think it's interesting that is that a problem actually in modern day culture as well, is that we don't actually say enough. We just give a thumbs up to something, if you like, as opposed to saying, well, do you know what, I don't like that, or actually that really touched me. We don't tend to go far enough half the time, and I think that's half the problem of the way that music is now disseminated to people as well through streaming, etc., which is that everything's kind of like, like that, don't like that, like that, don't like that, as opposed to you kind of used to know that someone did like something or not because they saved up all of their money that their hard-earned money that they'd earned. They queued for hours down the local record shop and they bought it.
Right, and then right, exactly.
Then you do know, right?
Right, but if there's just 1,000 views or 100,000 views or 1,000,000 views, what does that mean exactly?
Exactly. In fact, is it that anyone's actually viewed that, or does that just mean, is that just an impression? Does it just mean that someone's flicked past it? Oh, I flicked past your song.
Right. Exactly.
I didn't actually stop on it for any kind of millisecond, etc.
Right, or played while I'm not in the room.
Yeah. What's this latest album for people that haven't heard it? Let's talk about some of the themes that you're touching on it. What are you talking about on this album?
The last, since the pandemic and the conditions in America, and I'm sure everywhere else, just to sort of trying to personally and I don't know, come to grips with how bad everything's been, and the sort of loss. There's just an enormous amount of loss. But personally, I've known a lot of people who died, and I just generally, it's a sad, frustrating time where you feel not empowered to do anything about it. That's what a lot of the music is about. I think loss.
Where does the hope come in that music?
That's a good question. I'm hopeful that won't continue. That's really like but I don't know. It's an observation, but I don't know that the songs are tremendously hopeful. But
in terms of when you're writing these songs, what's your sort of go-to methodology, if you like, in terms of writing? Do you're obviously a little bit of a geek in terms of electronics and stuff like that. Are you mending things as you go along as well as writing?
No, unless something breaks. No, that's not part of the plan. But for most of the time, it was in my life, it's been guitar and bass, and some drums as well. And this time around, it's all electronic. So we were during the starting just after the pandemic until now, we've been using entirely synths. There's like one guitar on one track, but it's always about the sort of groove and the rhythm first, and the sort of making music that the two of us like, that Cheryl and I like, and then working out melodies and harmonies to go with those. That's pretty much always every once in a while we write the lyrics first and then try to write a song to it. That's probably like 2 out of 10 to go that way. It's usually the other way around.
Yeah.
At least now.
So you get into the groove. you to quote somebody, you're trying to get the groove down. You're trying to feel your way through that track in the first instance. You've
like
worked.
Go ahead.
No, go on.
It's like meditative, that you're trying to work out. It's all emotional, like just what feels right. It's never, oh, this needs to be more of X. It's always just whatever feels right, and then trying to sort out how to play it.
But then when you have something to say, and at what point does that come together with that groove, or does that just naturally kind of combine in the middle somewhere?
Yeah, I think it naturally sort of combines. So like usually there's a mood and an emotion to the sort of bass and drum and that sort of keyboard rhythm parts, and from there on, there's what the concepts that are going on in our minds. Like I just said, so there's a lot about loss. So you're just trying to come to grips with these things. It's not We're not sitting around trying to force a specific lyric. They just naturally happen.
Yeah. When you got to the end of writing this set of songs, was it hard in terms of knowing chronologically how to put them together, or was that fairly straightforward as well?
It's kind of the same. When we were mixing them, we would sit and listen to them, and they naturally fell into a progression pretty
Yeah.
shortly. And we thought about two methods, like one's all together on a continuous play, like 10 tracks in a row, and the other's on a piece of vinyl with, where's the second half start. So it was kind of a two ways of looking at it, and we looked at it over and over again until we felt like the second side would start in an interesting way.
You've had some friends help on this record, some fairly big friends in terms of production. How did you start those conversations in terms of reaching out?
For some reason, we've been very lucky. Pretty much always. If for whatever reason, whenever we found somebody or we knew of someone whose work we admired, they've very often been responsive, and a lot of people are just nice. So we don't know them really, but we'd reach out to people and they would help us, be friendly.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we were just right in what we identified with. Maybe it's just similar enough, and there's enough relationship that they can feel it. I don't know. I couldn't say why somebody helps you when they or doesn't.
Right.
But we've been very lucky. Like we worked with Vaughn Oliver from not on this album. He's passed away, but on our last album, he did the graphic design for the entire CD and vinyl, and we ended up working with him making animations for the Pixies. And we made like the animated stage set for the Surfer Rosa 30th anniversary with him. So he was a like friendly and a fan of our music video work, our animation work, and we just hit it off. And it's been sort of the same like with other people that we've reached out to work on music videos or to work on music. The connections have been pretty easy, like not difficult to make and not difficult to maintain. So we've been lucky.
Does that tell you something about how musicians communicate?
Yeah, probably. I think you might be right. I think we're obviously. I don't think we're trying to get anything from these people, so it's not like we're asking for help. Or we're not trying. We're not trying for somebody to make us famous or something. Like we're not. We're just maybe it's the way we're approaching people. I don't know. We're genuinely asking to work with people who we admire, and or for them even help work for them.
I think that's the key, and I think going back to our earlier conversation, I think maybe that's part of the answer. I've been having a lot of conversations recently, not necessarily within the music circle, but just within the sort of bigger, wider community as well, about I think a lot of social media and a lot of what you see out there are people standing in front of people waving their arms trying to get somebody's attention.
Right.
But I think the people that are making a difference and are actually achieving something are those people that stop standing in front of people and actually just go, right, I'd really like to walk beside you and be on a journey with you, and actually let's see what happens on that journey.
Just offer to help other people without any gain even.
Well, exactly that. And the gain comes because the gain comes from everybody.
Sure.
Because the thing is, I think when we stop as human beings thinking that actually it's all about us, but actually it's about everybody,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And we walk alongside people, and we help each other, and we move forward. We then all learn something, and then I think that's where great stuff actually does happen, you know. So that's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, we were really lucky. We're fans of Martyn Ware's work, and we just asked him to do if he would find time to do a remix. And he was really, really kind and just helped us out. And it certainly isn't about the money or anything. He just was being kind to us. And I think just generally there's a lot of very nice people. And yeah, the promotion part is the thing I hate the most. Like I just self promotion doesn't really work for me at all. Like Cheryl and I are not into that. So we'd much rather be making something than waving our arms and asking people to check it out. I think that's sort of a problem always.
Sorry, I lost sound completely there for a minute. I have
No,
no idea why.
well, it's good you didn't miss anything.
I don't think that's the truth. Listen, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you for coming on and sharing some stuff with me. It's been a pleasure really getting to speak to you about the way that you put your music together. I appreciate that greatly, folks. If you haven't listened to the album yet, please do. I'm going to put the links for the album in so that people can find the album. As I always say on this show, please do support musicians. Don't just stream it and think, yeah, I like that or not. If you do like it, most important thing is to stop for a minute and actually let the artist know, because that's that communication backwards and forwards is really important. So everybody does appreciate that. There's a single as well, which is out. Do you want to just give the details of the single?
Yeah, the album's out tomorrow. I don't know what day this will be. This is live, right? So I don't. The album comes out tomorrow. The first two singles are already out, and there'll be a third single in December. But there's a remix of the first single made by Martyn Ware that's also available. So 3 tracks are out, and everything will be out tomorrow.
Please do check the album out. As I say, we'll put the links to that in. There'll be some little clips of this that go up on Instagram and things as well. So please do, if you've enjoyed this, please do share that. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today. Bye for now.